Okay, this is a video about what we should do when the people closest to us don't really support or celebrate our style of parenting, the choices that we make as a parent. Sound familiar? Welcome to New Mom on the Block. Okay, welcome to New Mom on the Block. I'm excited for this one because I got a bunch of requests from people saying, can you please talk about how do you talk to in-laws or your own parents about just your own style of parenting, your preferences, maybe your parents or family or really close family friends are the caregivers for your children when you work. It can be awkward. It can be uncomfortable. So I want to talk about how we navigate this and how we hold our center, hold our ground and our boundaries in a way that creates a lot of peace and harmony for everyone involved. It is possible. So first, I just wanted to give you a little insight into my experience. I will say that my own immediate family, my mom and dad, my siblings, have been incredible. And I knew they were going to be just incredible support during my transition to parenthood, etc. But I am honestly blown away by just how supportive they've been of my own choices and preferences as a mother. And I think they're that way for many reasons, but I'm just really grateful. So I will say that at the outset. So my experience with my immediate family isn't one that I feel like I've had a challenge with. I've had a challenge with other people that I'm close to, so I can kind of speak to that experience. But what I know is that this experience of making decisions for your children, for your family, for yourself, now in this season of parenthood, part of the growth and the lesson is to fully own those decisions and trust yourself, despite the pushback, despite the feedback and criticism and the judgment. And why? Why are we being tested and stretched in this way? Because we are in parenthood initiation. It is so big, okay? And I don't know if it ever ends as a parent. I just feel like we are being stretched and expanded to hold a lot, to protect our children, to protect our families, to provide just a quality of life that allows for expression and exploration and is one that in your own eyes is the healthiest and the safest. So I'll just say at a high level, it's supposed to be hard at times. It really is. And I know having uncomfortable conversations with people that you care about is not on your to-do list of things that you really want to do. So I really relate to that. I, for a long time, did not want to have uncomfortable conversations. Just felt like a lot of effort. It felt uncomfortable, but I've noticed that when I own a choice and I communicate why it is important to me, or I just hold my pose in choosing that choice, the dynamic in the relationships shift a little bit, and they shift into a much healthier dynamic where each person, each party respects the other. And they respect the other because they want to be in each other's lives. So if you find that when you make a choice and there's a lot of criticism and judgment and that person pushes themselves away from you or your family, it's super unfortunate, it's really sad, but that is a choice. And sometimes these moments can bring us closer together or pull us apart. And it is not your job, nor should it be where your energy goes, to over-explain your choice to anyone. If we get in the habit of over-explaining our choices as parents, then that is what that other person or those people will expect every time this happens. And that's not what they can expect. That's not how this works. These are your children. This is your family and your life. They get a chance to do that if that's their choice, but they don't get a chance to micromanage or control your experience, no matter what it involves. So I get a lot of DMs around certain decisions, say with schooling or with immunizations or sleep training choices. And oftentimes there will be opinions, whether it's of their partner or of their in-laws or their own parents or say siblings, that really go against what they know intuitively is best for them and their child. And this is what I'll say. I believe that if this is a topic that is causing a little bit of disagreement or friction between you and your partner, so the other parent, then this deserves a conversation. A conversation that involves one, each of you expressing why this is important to you. And you might find that in expressing this, the other person actually doesn't have too strong of a feeling, except that they kind of think it's not right, but they don't know why. Usually one person in a partnership with these topics that I shared and more, one partner feels more strongly than the other. And one partner probably has done more research or has more experience or whatever. And so both should express themselves as to why this is important, and both should express themselves as to why they feel this way. I think a why really helps ground us in the conversation and also kind of takes the emotional charge out of it. So if we can ground ourselves in a solid why and also express like, I get really upset about this, or I get really heated, or I get really sad when we talk about this because. So we can absolutely bring in the emotional experience, but let's ground it in that moment in the what's behind it so that the other person understands that we have full awareness of what is causing this emotional reaction. And from there will most likely need to be a compromise. And I have found that if it is really important to you, that you not sleep train your child and you would like to do a gentler approach, or maybe just you follow their lead, or you co-sleep and you do that until it's comfortable for you not to. Like whatever choice you make, if that is something you feel very strongly about, you express that to your partner, and hopefully they will concede to a compromise of like, okay, I will support you in this decision. I'm not fully agreeing with you, but I can see that you're very passionate about this and you are researched, and yeah, this is important to you, and so I want to support you. That between partners should be enough. When it comes to extended family, in-laws, parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, grandma, grandpa, etc., you don't owe anyone any explanation. I know. It's a hard truth. It's a hard truth because that feels like that's going to piss someone off, or that is going to hurt someone's feelings, or they're going to feel like, not an important part of this child's life, or whatever meaning they make out of this interaction or this experience, but you really owe them zero explanation. What you really owe is to your child and your family to own the decision and to follow through with that decision if that's how you feel. By the way, you can change your mind if your mind changes, but to follow through with what you know is right for you and your family without conceding, wavering, really crumbling under the judgment and criticism. Because there will be many moments in parenthood. There will be many, many moments in parenthood that will try to break you. There will be many moments where you will be tested. Are you going to stand by what you said? Are you going to follow through with what you believe? Are you going to walk your talk? And it's not going to be easy. It's super uncomfortable. You will feel tested. You will feel stretched. It will feel like, can't breathe. But you're going to move through this moment and come out the other side so proud, so strong, and just a real leader in your family. And you are showing your children that that is possible as well. So this is, we're talking about right now a very high level of this intense criticism, judgment around your parenting that you might encounter. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Yet with your partner, you should be having a discussion about certain topics that you disagree on. Now, when it comes to these micro moments with people who you are close to, again, grandma, grandpa, aunts, uncles, siblings, your own parents, friends that feel like family, you're going to have micro moments that test you. And a lot of times we just want to let them slide under the rug and not be addressed. But over time, it's like death by 1,000 cuts type vibes, right? Like if every time your mother-in-law comes over, she says just, you really should let the baby cry when you put him down. He'll learn, it's fine. And she says it every single time she's over, but that is not how you want to approach it, you have to nip it in the bud early and have a very brief, very direct conversation. And that could look like, I appreciate you sharing your opinion, but that's really not for us. What's really important to me is that I'm able to parent the way I want to parent. And I know that you are an incredible parent, but you got to do that with your children. So it would mean a lot to me if you could just respect my style of parenting. You can shorten that, you can add whatever you want to it, but keep it direct and simple. And I think the hardest part is just holding that pose, right? Holding that pose, because we don't know how the other person's going to react. That's kind of the scary part. Don't know how they're going to react, but that's none of your business. Okay? It's none of your business how they react. So let that go. Just like it's going to be none of your business when you discipline your child, none of your business how they're going to react. Right? Like, we can't edit how we act based on how we think the other person is going to act. We have to act in integrity. Right? I would also say, especially when it comes to in-laws or your own parents, I think it is super important that you and your partner are a united front. And that could be hard. Your partner might be super close with their mom, and, disagreeing with their mom might be their worst nightmare. There might be some codependency, right? And I think most of us have some codependent threads that tug at us. I definitely do. And I have had to learn with my parents and my in-laws that when I own my decisions and I'm not looking over my shoulder to see how they're going to react, it actually changes the way that they take part in the dynamic. And it's not to say that they agree. It's just to say that they step back a little bit without saying it. Okay, that's what she's going to do, and we just keep it moving. And there might be a little residue, right? But I don't let it dirty my experience, because we're not going to agree on everything. And that's okay. It is totally okay. I'm getting over that good girl, I don't want anyone to be mad at me persona that I felt like I had to uphold for a long time. I'm over it. If someone's not going to agree with me and feel a type of way about me or say something about me, that's none of my business, right? I know who I am, and you know who you are as a parent. You do. And if nothing else, you're getting to know it and you're dedicated to that. I know you. I definitely know you in that way. If you're here, that's the type of vibe. So make sure that you and your partner are a united front. How do you do that? It's a conversation with your partner that's like, babe, it's really important to me that, we are a team. It's you and me against the problem. And I just feel like in moments with your parents, I feel alone. I don't feel like you are necessarily communicating to your parents our preferences as parents or defending the way in which I approach. And again, this doesn't need to be a fight with the in-laws, but it's like, I kind of need you to be somewhat of a translator of sorts to your parents, or just really setting the tone with them. Listen, mom and dad, we love you. We're so grateful you are active grandparents, but we're going to parent the way we parent. And it would just really mean a lot to us if you could hold your criticism and just have a lot of fun with your grandchildren. Because right now we're feeling X, Y, and Z. And for your partner to say that to their parents, powerful. It says so much. It says, I am prioritizing my family, and that is what's important to me. And there could be some codependency there, and the parents could react like, oh, how could you, and take it a certain way. Again, as hard as it is to say in here and accept, it's none of your business. If they want to be a part of your child's life, they'll get over it. They'll come on back. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. Because we have to remember, on a generational level, there's so much healing happening. We are working on ourselves, right? Working on just becoming aware of what's happening within us so we can handle what's happening around us. And our parents are too, even as grandparents. And especially as grandparents now. I feel like their generation, blanket statement, but didn't really go to therapy, didn't really do the work, and now they're kind of doing it. Some of them are just too far along to change or want to change, but we are doing a lot of it, and it's part of our responsibility to not let those dynamics perpetuate, generation to generation. So if you see them kind of like short circuit and like, what's happening? Let them have that experience. As Mel Robbins says, let them. So that's really, really, really important. You're a united front with your partner. Now, what if your partner is like, yeah, like that's too hard. I don't agree. Like, I don't agree with what you're doing anyway. Like, you know, there's just kind of that, you know, it's a larger conversation. Then I would say couples therapy, to be honest. I think there needs to be a third party to kind of facilitate a deeper conversation, a mirror, you know, of sorts. Sean and I have been to couples therapy. We're on a break right now, but we were going to therapy for a long time. It was really helpful. It's just a great like container on a weekly or bi-weekly basis where you can kind of drop in all the things that have, you know, been happening in the last week or two. I just found it to be incredibly worth it. I think that's it for now. I want to leave you with all of that because I think it's enough to get started on just how we navigate these hard moments of really wanting to fight for what we believe in, and we don't have to necessarily fight. More so, the energy is best used in owning and following through and being directed into just the life and quality of life of your family. I think when we get distracted by others' opinions or judgments or criticisms, we're just falling into a trap. And as parents, we got to get real good at detecting those traps and completely avoiding them. And if we get caught in them, know how to get out of them. But I'm proud of you guys. I know how complex these things can be. So know that I didn't touch on every complex situation. I'm happy to chat about that in the comments. Let me know if this video resonated. Please share it with your other mom friends, parenthood friends. It means so much to me as I build this channel and this brand. I wanted to create this space for all of you who are new moms. And if you feel like, oh, I'm not a new mom, but hey, are you a mom? Do you experience new things almost every day with your children? Then you're a new mom. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for subscribing, and I will catch you on the next one. See you later.